Recently, there was a recall on the adult Shiley flexible tracheostomy tubes. After looking through my inventory, I found out all the tracheostomy tubes I own are on the recall list. I did not think this was going to be a very big deal. I simply was going to return them back to my medical equipment company. They were going to return them back to Medtronic, and Medtronic would send out replacements. That's how I thought everything was going to happen. Unfortunately, my medical equipment company is not going to return all my tracheostomy tubes, only some of them. The tracheostomy tubes they are not going to accept. I had to call Medtronic and ask what to do. Customer service at Medtronic has been extremely nice. They told me it was not a big deal. I just had to contact the recall department. The recall department would send me out return address labels to send the product back to Medtronic. Once Medtronic got that, I was going to be sent out replacements and everything would be great and wonderful. When I contacted the recall department, things have gone another way. There's been a lot of correspondence and a lot of miscommunication. Unfortunately, I can only contact them via email, and I haven't understood everything they've said, and I think they haven't understood everything I've said. Finally, we've come to the conclusion I have to fill out a recall form. Then I have to get authorization to send them back. Sending them back is going to be at my own cost, which is a bummer. It's going to cost me about $8 to $10 to send them back for shipping. Once they receive them, after they go through all the paperwork and decide that they're going to accept the return, then a recall claim has to be started. If they go through with the recall claim, I will be issued credit. Then the credit I can use to go back onto Medtronic's website to purchase new tracheostomy tubes. I'm not sure if Medtronic charges for shipping for their products, but most companies do. And if that's the case, then I will have to pay for return shipping. So that's a bummer. I don't know what their shipping costs are. Most companies, it's $8 to $10 per item. If that's the case, it's going to cost me $25 to $30 to get these tracheostomy tubes replaced, but I need them replaced. The tracheostomy tube has an issue. This connector right there that connects to the ventilator tubing is defective. It's too small, so the tubing does not connect properly. It has a very loose connection, and you might be able to get it connected, but then you just move or you just look at it and it will just disconnect. My last tracheostomy tube had this issue, and I cannot tell you how many times it disconnected. It kept pulling on my tracheostomy tube. Now I have a lot of granulation tissue around my tracheostomy site. I think this is from the ventilator tubing constantly disconnecting. It just rubbed a lot, and when it rubs a lot, it causes granulation tissue. I also am having severe pain in my trachea. I believe when this was happening with the defective tracheostomy tube, with the ventilator tubing continually disconnecting, this was causing my tracheostomy tube to constantly move inside my trachea, and this will rub against the trachea, which will again cause granulation tissue. When the granulation tissue forms, it will actually decrease the diameter of the trachea, and it'll cause pain, and I'm having a lot of pain with my trachea. I'm also having a lot of issues. My voice gives out, and I'm just unable to clear secretions very well. So I think my trachea is narrowed. I think there's granulation tissue. And this condition is called tracheal stenosis. I go next week to see my pulmonologist. Now I know from doing research, from doing my own videos, that tracheal stenosis is usually treated by an ear, nose, and throat doctor and not a pulmonologist. This isn't always true, but the majority of the time, the ear, nose, and throat doctor deals with this. So I have a feeling next week at my medical appointment, if he suspects it is granulation tissue and possibly tracheal stenosis, I will need a referral to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. I'm hoping this is not the case. I'm hoping my pulmonologist can go and resolve the granulation tissue and I don't need a referral. But if I do, then I have a referral off to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. And then I have to analyze if I trust the ear, nose, and throat doctor to do anything with my trachea. There's a big concern anytime you do anything with the trachea, you could damage the vocal cords. and lose your voice. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but the medical care in my area is not very good with tracheostomy tubes. My pulmonologist is wonderful and I trust him, but most of the other doctors, they don't have a lot of experience with tracheostomy tubes. And so if I don't feel comfortable and if I get referred to this ear, nose, and throat doctor, I might have to go to another community 6 hours away, which has a much larger medical center, and they deal with tracheostomy tubes a lot. And that's where I got a lot of my care about 5-6 years ago when I was having a lot of issues with my tracheostomy tube. They were the ones that were able to resolve it and get me back on the path to better health. So that's what's happening with that. I'm praying that the pulmonologist can help me and that it is something that's very easy to fix without any complications. I also hope that these tracheostomy tubes can be replaced and it's not going to cost me a lot of money. I pray actually it's free, but I don't think that's going to happen. But if it could be as little as possible, I would be very appreciative of that. So that's been my life. I've been very, very tired because this has just been very stressful. My tracheostomy tubes are not usable, and this is the only tracheostomy tube I have at the moment. If it fails, I have to go to the emergency department, and I just don't want to have to deal with that. So I'm praying everything gets resolved very quickly and easily, and then I can be back to my sunshine and lollipops life. That's been an update, so thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe down below. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful week. Bye-bye.